Hello, this is Tony Blazer back with another 5 questions. This one's going to cover round 5, which is going to be in Oakland this weekend. Really looking forward to this race. This race is going to be a return to the smaller baseball-style stadiums, a little more confined, meaning the track's typically tighter. Certainly going to have a much shorter start straight. Last week's start straight was insane. The thing was so long. Certainly Justin Bogle wasn't a real big fan of it when he got KO'd at Warp Factor 10. So this will be a little shorter, a little tighter. Looks like the whoops are going to be a lot smaller this week too, one little short section. So I would imagine it might play a factor this week, and we might get a little different result. So last week was certainly exciting, even though there wasn't a whole lot of passing at the very front. It was a good race to watch, so it should be interesting. So this is going to be my 5 questions for round 5.
Number 1.
My first question for round 5 in Oakland: can Ken Roczen take control of this series? Up to this point, he has shown that he has not been able to do that in Supercross. He had that amazing season in 2016 where he kicked everybody's tail outdoors. He almost won every round, if I remember right. And he was really on top of his game. And then, of course, we all know what happened in 2017 after he got off the RCH Suzuki and had the great start to the season. Looked like he was going to keep doing it in 17 on the Honda, and then, we don't want to go into that. So far, he hasn't been able to bounce back completely, but it seems like this year he's really back. I would love to see Kenny win again and kind of at least stay at the front. So far, it seems like he's back to 100% almost. He had that little bit of a hiccup at round 1 where he had the bike kind of set up wrong, but since then, he's been on fire. I think after the last couple of rounds, he's made me a believer. I want to believe he's got all this stuff behind him with the Lyme stuff and the illness and the sickness and all that crap. I certainly hope it's in the rearview mirror. If he could come out and win this weekend, man, I think these guys are in trouble. I mean, it sure seems like he is back to almost to the 2017 level. I don't know if he'll ever be exactly as fast as he was then. He's had that total reconstruction of his arm, so that's a hard thing. It's amazing to me he can ride it all as fast as he does. I can't imagine with the jacked up wrist he has, but he is really making a believer out of me this year. And I think if he comes out and wins again in Oakland, these guys are got to be concerned. He has the skill he's shown to put a beat down on everybody and run away with this. Again, he hasn't done it yet, but I think that's the main thing I'm looking. Can he come out and do it again?
Number 2.
My question number 2 for Oakland: is Cooper Webb ready to bounce back? Up to this point, Webb's had a real up and down year. He's had a few races where he overcame adversity with his illness. Certainly at the first round, it looked like he was going to have a real tough night, and he showed a lot of people what kind of, gut and determination he has, the toughness of the guy pushing through that and still getting on the podium. But last week was pretty rough. I mean, to be honest, I think his overall results weren't really reflected the way he looked on the track. He looked like he was really struggling all night in the whoops and stuff, but clearly he's a gamer. I mean, obviously you're not a Supercross champion just by luck, but he has shown the ability to kind of toughen out and make some, chicken salad, chicken blank, when things don't go the way he needs to. My thinking is it looks, just obviously looking at the track map, I haven't seen the actual track, but it looks like the whoop section is going to be much smaller this week, shorter. They could still be huge, but it won't be one of these long ones where he's having trouble. So Cooper, for whatever reason, I think he needs to, pay Mookie on the side and put him in a whoop boot camp for a week or something, learn to blitz whoops again. That's been his Achilles heel so far this year and last year too. It seemed like last year we had a lot of races where the track broke down and he could jump through them. If it turns out to be jumping whoops, he seems to be fine. If they're big, gnarly, early 2003 type whoops, Chad Reed style, he has trouble in those things. Those things are jackhammering him. So, I mean, personally, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he's really got shown the speed so far to run at the front. It seems like so far Kenny and Eli are just kind of on another level, and then you got Adam, who's shown the next level speed, but has not been able to put the results together. So, I need to see that speed. I need to see Cooper come out and just lay one down, say, "Hey, I'm back. I'm going to do it." Again, he's a gamer. He's the kind of guy that if he gets a whole shot and the whoops aren't too gnarly, I think he can win. That's what he did a lot of the time last year when he basically took the title. It's really, that was such an out of the nowhere kind of deal, and a lot of people, I'm sure, were hoping he would show it again this year. has to be a lot more pressure on you. You know, you're the only guy in the KTM truck. There's no Marv there as a wingman. Now, all those people are there for you. I mean, that's got to be a fantastic amount of pressure. Plus, you got the number 1 plate. Plus, you're sick. There's a lot going on there for Coop. I hope he pulls it together. You know, nothing would make me more excited than seeing another new winner this week. And I think Cooper, you know, I'm sure he's not going to go winless. He's not going to do like Jeff Emig did in '98, where you come out, you're Supercross champion, don't win anything. I'm sure one of these weekends he's going to get a whole shot. The track's going to be, you know, play in his favor or whatever. I think if he gets a whole shot and the whoops aren't too tough, and he's not sick, I think he still can win. I just haven't seen that guy yet, and I wonder if this is the week he finally does it.
Number 3.
My question number 3 for Oakland: who is the next guy up? So far, we've basically seen the Eli and Kenny show. Those guys have been, you know, trading back and forth the wins. Other than the kind of really surprising win by Barcia at the beginning of the year, it's been those two guys. They've been pretty much the show. I think at some point you're going to get a guy like a Cooper, as I mentioned before, or maybe an Anderson, or maybe an AC, maybe out of the nowhere Blake Baggett type deal. I think any of those things are possible. I'm just curious to know if that's going to happen soon, or are we going to be in this thing where you have a 2-man runaway? I hope not. I hope we get another, you know, new winner that'd be even better. I'm curious to see if these guys still feel they have a chance. I think they do. It gets to be a point late in the season where you kind of feel like, okay, I no longer have much of a shot. It's not been going my way. We're still early in the season. I don't think any of these guys think they're out of it. AC certainly doesn't. The points chase is still tight. I mean, Eli's, I think, 8 out. Third is maybe 10. It's still pretty close because there's been so many kind of up and down races. If one of the guys like Eli or Ken starts going on a roll and, you know, cranking off the wins, that could all change. But even a guy like Cooper Webb, who's 20 points out of the lead, he's not completely out of this. I mean, it's a long season. As much as you talk about, you know, points this, points that, all it takes is like one bad race and you lose 10, 12 points like that. So none of these guys are out of it. And I'm wondering if like a guy like Anderson has been kind of flying under the radar. I think that seems to suit his way of thinking. He doesn't like to really have all the spotlight on him. So far, he's been, you know, kind of steadily getting better each week. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see him come out at Oakland. I think he won Oakland 2 years ago. That was where we had the really good race between him and Ken when the track was real ruddy. I haven't looked at the forecast this weekend. Certainly, if you had another rough track like that with those crazy ruts, that could really upset the apple cart in terms of how everybody does. But assuming that it's a normal California track and it's not like muddy or nasty or something, I mean, I'm thinking, if I had to put money out right now, I'm thinking that maybe AC pulls one off finally. I'm definitely an AC truther. I think he's going to get at least a win before the end of the year. I'd love to see this weekend be it. I mean, how can you be the fastest guy in practice like every week? And if one of these times he's going to get a whole shot and he's going to win. I mean, I don't know, in history we've seen the fastest guy every week just never win. Eventually things will come together for him. I'm hoping it's this weekend. I'd love to see another new winner. Oakland, like I said, sometimes has been kind of a gnarly track. We've had some muddy races there and some dicey ones. And typically it seems to be a pretty good event. So I'm hoping it's a good race this weekend, and I'd love to see a new winner for sure.
Number 4.
All right, my question number 4 for Oakland: does Eli Tomac have this thing sorted out? It sure seems that he has got his program right on track. He didn't win in Glendale, but he was easily the second best guy. And then he kicked everybody's tail the week before. He was super fast today too. And really, it's other than the first race where it seemed like he was just completely out of sorts, he's really, you know, been easily the number 1 or number, you know, 1 or 1A or 1B, I guess is how you'd say that. I don't know if that means anything long term. Eli, even when he's completely the fastest guy, still have these dud races every now and again where he's thrown it away. Even outdoors, you know, he still would have some kind of these outlier races. Now he's been able to make up for that. The races are longer. You get 2 motos. There's a lot more chances to score points. So he's been able to overcome that, win those titles, 3 titles, I think, now in a row. Indoors, though, something's always gone sideways. I think my personal opinion is it seems like he is riding with a lot of confidence, seems to have the bike sorted out. I think he's going to continue to be up front, but his Achilles heel has been these starts. He's just can't get consistent starts. And fortunately, that ends up biting you. Sometimes you get a guy that comes over on you, or a thing like happens with Justin Bogle last week, where somebody, you know, doesn't turn left when they should and takes you out and causes you to hit your head. All those things can happen. I wouldn't say he's as bad of a starter as like a Michael Rocco or something, but he's definitely shown that he flubs them up a lot. It seemed like last year he had them a lot more sorted out. This year, some of the time he's been okay, but it's been really consistent. I think Eli is aware that Ken has the potential to run away from him. He did it to him. As bad of a dude as Eli is, in 2016, he had nothing for Ken Roczen outdoors. Kenny just put it to him on that old ancient Suzuki. And I think that he has to know in the back of his mind he needs to kind of nip this in the bud. It's one thing if they keep swapping wins back and forth. It's a whole other thing if Kenny wins 3 or 4 of these in a row, and then it becomes a problem. Now, the nice thing for Eli is he's not out of the title fight. Usually he's had some terrible race up to this point, and he's like 17, 18, 20 points down. He's not in that position. He's firmly in second, riding really well. I think he's exactly where he needs to be, but I do think he needs to make sure he doesn't let Ken get too much confidence. If Kenny gets too much confidence, it could be trouble for him. I'm not sure, how this is going to shake out going forward. My intuition would tell me that he's still going to have some trouble every now and again. That's just been Eli's, kind of MO up to this point. But if this is a new Eli, he's got consistency on his side. He could easily make this year his first Supercross title. So my question again is Eli going to be up front again this weekend, or are we going to get another one of those kind of iffy, what the hell's going on races?
Number 5.
My 5th and final question for Oakland: have we seen the best of Justin Barcia this year? Last year, he obviously got the red plate, won the first round. He actually kept the red plate one race longer this year, so good for him. But unfortunately, after that, it's kind of trended downward. His starts appear to have gone to total crap. I mean, that's one of the things, like Barcia, he just doesn't, and a lot of these guys don't have the speed. Other than like Eli, most of these guys are not going to mow through the pack. It's not James Stewart days where you get a 20th place start and you're in first by lap 4. It seems the field is very deep, and these guys are, certainly in general, while all the factory guys are still in it, they're all fast enough that, yeah, maybe they're not as fast as an Eli or somebody, but they're not going to just get their doors blown off by them. Even guys like Mookie and some of these guys that are, in the top 10, they're still legit. Even a guy like Eli sometimes can get stuck behind him. So unless Barcia gets his starts figured out, I don't think he's going to be much of a threat to win. But if he does get the start this weekend and he does get the whole shot, does he have the speed to kind of stay up front? I don't know. His kind of like Cooper last week, his overall results were higher in terms of the finish than it showed in each individual race. It looked like he was off, but he ended up getting, I think, maybe 5th, which is good. But for a guy who certainly had championship aspirations early on when he had the red plate, this has not been what he wants. This year, it's been a little better in that, it's been an illness. He hasn't, he didn't smash his face on the handlebar, didn't, mistime a triple like he did 2 years ago, I think, when he had that great start to the year. So none of that's happened, thankfully. So he hasn't hurt himself. He's not, limping through the rest of the season. I think he hurt his wrist last year. Up to now, typically he crashes or something goes wrong and that screws his season. I don't think that's the case. It seems like he's just had a bad run of luck in terms of starts. Maybe he gets the starts figured out and he's more competitive. I hope so. I like Justin. Justin 2.0, since he got on the Yamaha this time, I like him a lot better. The earlier Justin, the cocky Justin that throws roost on like the track workers or the AMA guy or whoever the hell it was when he was on a 250, that guy I didn't like. But it seems like he's really kind of straightened his act up. Got a little more mature. He was a kid then. I get it. We were all punks when we were kids. So this new Justin, though, I want to see him up front. I want to see him do better. I hope he's going to be back towards the front. It's kind of a bummer. I was really psyched for him, having the red plate early on. But I think all of us, unless you're like a real bandwagon Justin guy, probably thought, hey, it probably wasn't going to last for too long. I hope that he ends up being back up front. I think he certainly has the potential to be at least a top 5 guy. I'm not sure if we'll see him win another race, but you never know. Like, so maybe this weekend's, kind of surprised me. So that's one of my questions is this kind of a downward trend? Have we seen this is the new standard for Justin? You're probably looking, if you get a 5th, you're happy. It's still not bad. It's certainly better than what Plessinger's doing. And a lot of these other guys, would be super ecstatic with a 5th. But when you won the first round, you got the second time out and had the red plate, all these like mid 7, 8, 6, 5 finishes probably are not going to keep you happy. So I hope Justin gets it back on track, though, for sure. So there you have it. That is my 5 questions for Oakland. I'd love to know what your questions are. I'd love to know what you're looking for this weekend. I think as long as we have another exciting evening where everybody comes out healthy, I think I'll be happy. Supercross is great. I love the sport. It's awesome. The only thing I hope for is a nice, safe night of racing. It's one thing that's great about it. Unlike football and other sports, I really don't care who wins that much. I just want to see a good show. And as long as everybody comes out happy and healthy and we have a good, entertaining night of racing, I'm pleased. So if you like this sort of thing, feel free to subscribe. I'd certainly appreciate the help. Like it. If you're listening to this on the podcast app, if you could subscribe and also rate the podcast, it'll help grow my channel. I certainly appreciate that as well. So this is Tony Blazer. Until we meet again, peace.